Hi guys, in today's review will be on an all new tooled item by Rapido Trains UK, and this all new tooled item is a Lnwr grey 10-ton van, and it is diagram 88 under the Lnwr, I believe, or it could be even the LMS. This is a pre-grouping item, and this came out around September 2024. The product code for this one you need is 945002. I am a very big fan of pre-grouping locos and items. I think that's the way the hobby is going in 00 for Steam anyway. And when Rapido announces, I always go for one of the lower ones because I like the pre-grouping items. But they do some unusual ones in this range. They do a army one and a navy one as well, which is correct. From here you can't really see much, so let's get into the review and see what it's all about, shall we? So with this model, as far as I'm aware, you do not get any detail bags, but you do get a leaflet with the history. So it's only two sides. On the first side it's the Rapido Trains UK with a picture of an actual van. They also have a section of acknowledgement of people who have helped the project. You warranty, where to go, contact Rapido. Here's the contacts, the phone numbers, snail mail, which is their business address, and then you got the UE representatives as well. And then if you turn it over, you actually get some history on the model as well, which I will just take the bottom line here. Many of these made it into BR and departmental service as well. Others were sold off to private use, including the Army and the Navy, which interests me a lot. If to do the Army or Navy version, I'll be interested in that. And then again, it says where a few of the models have been preserved, which is the Severn Valley Railway, Cheltenham Historic Dockyard, and the National Railway Museum. It's always nice when the manufacturers go to the trouble of giving you prototype history of a loco or a wagon. As we now move on to the front or the back of the wagon, depending on your preference. We do have a NEM pocket and a couple of attached to each end. They come pre-fitted. We have some underframe detail as well if you look around. Then we go up to the buffer beam. The buffers themselves are metal but not sprung, and I believe they have been painted as well. The buffer beam and the shanks are in a grey, the Lnwr grey, with a few rivets on there. There is also in the centre a hook in black as well, which I think could be a metal part too. Again, there are some rivets around it. You can also see on the buffer beam the supports for the actual van itself, and you can see the riveting or welding on them. Now as we move on up, you can see it's all in grey with the planking, and then there is, I want to say, two strips of metal going across diagonally to make an X. Again, that has riveting on. I'm not sure if this is part of the moulding or it's a separate piece, but it does look crisp and good. Again, like I said, it has riveting on or welding, and so does the vertical supports. They do have the welding or riveting on as well. The most interesting part about this side is it actually has the number on here instead of on the side. So the number of the van, as you probably can guess by now, is 12655, and it is in the Lnwr grey. And you can also see the roof again, which is separately applied too. As we now move on to the side of this van, as you've probably guessed before and I've said, it is in the Lnwr grey. It is a 10-ton van, and it says it at one corner and then the top corner of either side. All the lettering and all the printing on this van actually is crisp and clear. We do have the panelling of the wood effect. We also have the doors that are moulded on, and these doors are 3-section doors. So the bottom half drops down and then you can open the doors wide. That is how they're done. They've moulded the chains and the locks to that as well. We also have a sole bar, and on this sole bar it has some writing. It also has a builder's plate with Lnwr, and I think the year it was built, and again the number of the van itself, which is legible. You also have some underframe supports for the wheels and breakage. Again, this is plastic. You have metal spoked wheels, or split spoked wheels, I believe they are. And you also have an axle type called the bulbous one, I believe it is, which are correct to this van. One thing I do want to point out on this van, the handbrake ridge that it has in real life is on a loop here, so you can do it in sections. Hopefully now there should be a photo of this that I've seen. So let's do an aerial view on top of the van now. There isn't really much to look at. Like I said, the roof itself is separately applied. We do have a few rivets on the ribs of the roof, and I think there's about 10 on there. There's no rain ducting at all, and the roof is in a dark grey. or a lighter grey to the van anyway. And finally, as we come to do an underneath look at the van now, as you can tell, there is lots of finely moulded or finely made detail and lots of separately applied parts. I believe the brake rigging is separately applied. We also have, like I said, the metal split spoked wheels. We also have some bearings in the wheels as well, so it should be a good free roller. Some supports again for the underneath. We also have a moulded on spring in the centre. You have your NEM couplers at either end, and they are the slim line ones. There's lots of springs moulded on at either end, and there is also some of the separately applied brake rigging, and the brake shoes do actually line up with the wheels themselves. They are very close to look as well. So next up will be the usual coupling test. So for this I am using a Lnwr styled Era 2 baggage car by Hornby or Coach, and a Oxford Rail Great Eastern Railway 10-ton covered van. So let's see if the couplings match and they do their job, shall we? Looks like it has. Yeah, it's done it pretty well. So enjoy the running session, and I'll see you at the end. So yeah guys, that's the end of the review and the running session. Before I give my opinion on this Rapido van, I'll tell you what was pulling the train, and that was the Hornby LMS turbo motive. The reason behind this is I don't have any prototypical Lnwr locos. I only have two in my collection as far as I'm aware, so I went for a Era 3 LMS one. My reason is maybe the LMS were just testing the pulling power of the turbo motive. That's basically it. So now on to the price of the model before I get into my opinion. I got mine from Tops Trains and I paid just a little bit over £30 for this from a family run shop. And I got good service from there, I have no issues. If you'd get this from a major retailer, Rails of Sheffield, Kerno, TMC, that sort of thing, you are talking a little bit cheaper than that. You're talking £28.99, give or take the retailer. If you were to get this direct from Rapido themselves, I think most of them are sold out. You're talking £32.95 from Rapido themselves. Like I said, there is some interesting deliveries out there. For me, the pricing isn't too bad for a new tooled item. It's below that £30 mark. Again, I brought it up before in another review. When you compare it to some of the stuff that Hornby and slightly Bachmann are churning out, that are old tooled, some stem from back from mainline or the 70s, and they're still touching the £30 mark, and they still have the big decouplings. Yeah, this is a bargain compared to that, but if you compare it to like Oxford Rail and Dapple, Oxford Rail, again, haven't really released any rolling stock for Steam, so I can't really do a comparison, but they're normally around the £20 mark, and Dapple made in England stuff, again, is between £15 and £20 new with the new coupling. So my opinion on the model, I love my Era 2 pre-grouping locomotives and rolling stock. Rolling stock is a must, like that. This is a great price. The end of the train that has the Lnwr 10 van, it has the Great Eastern 10 van by Oxford Rail. Then we come to a Rapido one, South Eastern Chatham, and then we have the LMS, Bachmann, Midland Railway, Toad, or whatever you want to call it, Guards Run. For me, it got lots of separately applied detail. They've gone to a lot of trouble with the design and accuracy of the model. Depending on which version of the model you get, depending on which version of roofs and stuff you get and buffers, I believe you have this correct. Paint schemes, the history. I do love my history. I know it's sad, but I do like the history of stuff. I like to learn and know stuff. The tampo printing, or the printing on these models, are crisp. You have the builder's plate on the sole bar, like I've shown you. It is legible from the eye, not just the camera. The roof is separately applied, and it's at a reasonable price. To go along with this, we do really need some more pre-grouping livery locos to go with all the pre-grouping stuff that's coming out from other manufacturers, with that being said. But for the, like, you got your LMS and your BR, you got tons of locos for them. This is surely to be a hidden gem for Rapido. It's such a lovely model. It ran smooth, no issues, no derailing, no nothing. And nothing fell off mine at all. It was perfectly fine. Some do come with steam pipes or vat pipes, depending on the van you decide to get. Like I said, the Navy one and the Army one does interest me, but I think they've probably sold out most shops. So for me, it depends on your budget. Again, this may go into a sale at some point along the line. Most things do this day and age. So you maybe get a little bit cheaper than the £30 mark. But if you really want one, yeah, go and get one. They are a superb model. That is my take on the Rapido Diagram 88 Lnwr 10-ton van. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. So please take care and goodbye.